Good morning, grade 3. Once again, welcome back to your class. So, we just started with the third chapter, that is lesson number 3. If you can remember, the parts of the plant. So, we have seen different parts of the plant the other day and we have discussed about different parts in detail. If you remember very well, ma'am has shown you the rose plant. She just showed you the stem of the plant, the branches of the plant, the leaves of the plant, the flowers of the plant. I could not show you the fruit because rose plant does not have a fruit. And you also got some homework to just observe some fruits on the mango tree or lemon tree or any other tree that you have around in your nearby your house. So we are just done with the different parts of the plant and what are the two important parts of the plant that also we finished in the last class. So I just want you to recollect what are the two important parts of the plant which is above the ground, that is the shoot, and the part that is below the ground, that is the root. So we have understood the shoot system contains all these parts like stem, branches, leaves, flowers and fruits and buds, and the root system is again categorized into two different kinds, that is fibrous roots and tap roots. And as I was explaining to you, I have also shown you how to draw the fibrous roots, how to draw the tap root. So I have also asked you to observe some root of a plant which is in your backyard, which is in your garden. You can just pull up a small grass plant and see it will have the fibrous roots. So what is the feature of the fibrous roots? A set of roots or a tuft of roots will start from the end of the stem, and this you observe in your grass plants, in your onion and your wheat plants and the rice plants. They have the fibrous roots. What is the main feature of the tap roots? The other one we have studied about the tap root, that there is one main root and there are some side roots. So I just want to recap with the help of this picture given in the textbook, because the other day we have drawn enough of drawings. Just for a recap, just look at this fibrous root and the tap root. The fibrous root, from this point of the stem, the end point of the stem, many roots, small fiber like roots are coming and they are fixing the plant into the soil. In the tap root, there is a main root which is fixing the plant to the soil, and there are side roots, if you can see. So this is about the fibrous roots and the tap root. And today's class we are going to learn about the functions of roots. What are we going to learn? We are going to learn about the functions of roots. So what are the functions? When I say functions, the first thing that comes to your mind is what? I want you to recollect. Functions of root. So what are the functions of root? What are the functions of root? Basically, what do you understand when you think that the roots are below the ground and the plant is able to stand above the ground, the stem part or the shoot part is able to stand above the ground properly? How is it possible? It is because the root is fixing the plant to the soil. So what is the first function? It is fixing the root to the soil very tightly. So we discussed when we were talking about the fibrous roots. So what is the fibrous root? What does the fibrous roots do? They are thin, fiber like. They hold the soil very tightly and the plant can never come out, even if there is a strong wind or a breeze, or even if there is a lot of water in the garden, the grass plant will not come out. How is it possible? Because the grass plant has the fibrous roots, which is having these roots holding the soil very tightly. So it cannot come out of the soil that easily. This is the grass plant. So imagine this group of, this is your grass plant. Take for example a lily, only lily flower. A lily is a grass plant. Okay. So it can never come out of the soil because it fixes the roots with the help of roots to the soil so tightly. And what is the next important function of the root, you think? From where do you think the plant is getting its water, minerals? That is the food of the plant, right? So what is a plant required to make food on its own? It requires water, it requires sunlight, it requires air, and in chlorophyll in the leaf they prepare the food with the help of the process photosynthesis. But where does it get the water? Are we sprinkling it on the plant and plant is taking it, drinking as if you drink with a tumbler? No. From where does it get? You have to guess. Yeah, some of you could really think. So what is it? They absorb water from the soil. So that is why you have a plant in the pot and you pour water in the pot. Where do you think the water is going? It's going into the soil. So what is there in the soil? The roots are fixed in the soil. So these roots will absorb the water that you are giving to the plant, that will go to different parts of the plant. Okay. So the next one is absorbs water and minerals. It absorbs water and minerals dissolved in the soil. So then they push the absorbed water and mineral salts up into the stem. So if you observe the mechanism, here it is water. Just imagine there is lot of water. So what happens? This water is absorbed by this root and it will slowly reach the leaf. This absorbs water, it slowly reaches the leaf. So it's like that. So it passes through the root to the stem, and from the stem to the branches, from the branches to the leaves, again from the branches to the flowers, from branches to the fruits, from the branches to the buds. So every part of the plant will be able to get water with the help of roots absorbing, then giving it to the stem that will provide to different parts of the plant. So what is the third function of the root? Let's look into the reader. In some plants, roots store food within themselves. We eat the roots of these plants. For example, carrot, radish, turnip and beetroots store food in them. So what is the third function? They store food in them. What do? They store food in them. So what is the first thing coming to your mind when you say the root stores food in them? It is nothing but your carrot. How many of you love carrots? I love to eat carrots. Yeah? And then radish. Radish is little longer, white in color. So this is also radish, also is a root that grows from the roots by the root storing the food. You are eating the root of the plant because the root of the carrot, the root of the radish, the root of the turnip, that is the beetroot, and they are the beetroot and the turnip, they store food in them. So when you are asked to write the examples, you can write the examples of roots that we eat. Now you should be able to tell me what are the roots that we eat. The roots that we eat are carrot, radish, turnip and beetroot. How can we eat the roots of a plant? Because the roots store the food in them, we are able to eat them as the food. Okay. Hope you have understood about the functions of the root. For a quick recap, we'll just look at the points. So what is the first point? Fixing the plant to the soil. That is the first function. What is the second function? Absorbs water and minerals dissolved in the water in the soil. So this will be reaching to the through the roots to the stem to different parts of the plant. Then the third function of the root is they store food in the roots of the plant and they become the food material to animals and human beings. What are those roots again? What are the best examples? Carrot, radish, turnip and beetroot. So you have to learn all these spellings and read the page thoroughly. So turn to the page 124 now. So what are we learning here? We are learning about the stem. So let's just understand about the stem also as how we understood about the root. Okay. Now you all know very well what are the functions of the root. Now you have to understand about the functions of the stem also. But before we understand the functions of the stem, let's first learn few more facts about the stem. So let's read the paragraph from page 124. The stem is the main part of the shoot. It holds the plant upright above the ground. The stem bears the branches, leaves, buds, flowers and fruit. The stems of some trees are very hard, strong and woody. For example, coconut and neem trees have very hard and woody stem. It keeps the tree upright. How do you think the coconut tree is upright and the neem tree is upright? How is the tree able to stand straight? It is because of the strength of the stem, the strength of the trunk of that plant that is making the plant, giving the plant that strength to stand straight. And but in contrary, there are some plants which have a very soft stem. So what is the example for such soft stem? You must have seen the banana tree, which has a very soft and green stem. But it also holds the plant upright and bears the leaves. And of course, the flowers that would become fruits of banana. So you have a very big uh, uh, banana which is hanging to the the tuft of bananas which are hanging from the tree, but still you see the plant is holding it. Even despite of the weight, it is able to stand straight and it is giving support to the plant. Now the last point, the stem of some plants such as money plants is very soft and weak. It cannot hold the plant, it only bears leaves. The plant needs support to stay upright. So in general we are studying about the stem. How does it help the plant to stay straight, or what are the different kinds of stems or different kinds of trunks in different plants and trees. So basically what are the parts of the shoot? You have main stem, branches, leaves, buds, flowers and fruits. So these you have already seen in the previous class, and you must have observed in the real plants also outside in your garden. Have you seen any plant in the garden? Okay. You have to observe a plant, as in when we are doing some relevant topic, you have to observe the plants. So the stems of some plants is very hard. If you observe a coconut tree in your compound, you see the stem is very hard. You just tap the stem of the coconut, you will find it very hard. And similarly, you try to tap the stem of the banana tree, you find it very soft. But you see both the plants are standing straight. Both the plants are able to stand erect. Okay, this is the banana leaf. Okay, and so you will find the bananas. Okay, this is the banana tree. The stem is very soft. How is the stem? It's very soft. Now I am drawing the coconut tree. You see The stem is very hard, brown in color. Okay, this is very hard. And how are the leaves? Leaves are like this. So what is it having? It is having lots of fruits. That is nothing but your coconut. Okay, that's nothing but the coconut. So this hard stem is also able to make this plant stand straight. The same way the soft stem of this banana plant or the tree is also able to make the stand straight with the weight of its fruits. Both of them have weight, but they are still able to hold them straight above the ground. This is also able to make the plant straight above the ground. So this is a very important function of the stem, to keep the plant upright above the ground. So that we understand from both the examples. One is banana, the other one is coconut. So what is the best example for a weak stem? That is your money plant. So how is it? The plant, first you need a support. What does it need? It needs a support, otherwise it falls down. So the stem is very weak and it requires a support to the plant. So what is that support? You are giving it from outside. What is that support you are giving from outside? You have a stick, a hard stick at home, which you keep in the pot. Can you see? I kept it in the pot and I roll my climber on the support, because the stem of my money plant is very weak. It cannot hold the plant upright like how the banana tree can hold, like how the coconut tree can hold. So I need to give it a support. So these are the different kinds of stems that we see around in our garden or around your house. Fine. So now let's understand the functions of the stem. So when we are understanding this, we can always understand the first fact, that is stem holds the plant upright. Very good. So you understood this point with these examples. Stem holds the plant upright. What is the other function? Let's look at point number 2. Stem bears leaves, buds, flowers and fruits. This also we have observed. It's a very easy point to understand. What is point number 3? Stem carries water and mineral salts from the roots to all parts of the plant. So you have also studied about the functions of the root, that the roots will absorb the water and it will give it to the stem. So from the stem, if the stem is getting the water from the roots, what is its function now? It has to give it to different parts of the plant. So your teacher is giving you a bundle of books to the class monitor, and the class monitor is asked to distribute all the books to the children. So what you do? You will distribute the books to different children. So you will distribute to the first bench child, you will distribute to the last bench child, you will also distribute to the child sitting in the middle. So you are doing your function properly by giving it to all people. Yeah. So the same way, the water that is supplied by the root to the stem is given to all parts of the plant without any disturbance, without any fail, so that all parts of the plant get water, proper water, sufficient water for them to continue the life, to do the function of photosynthesis and to keep the processes up to date from day and night. So this is how the third function is also carried in the plants. Now the fourth one, stem carries food prepared by the leaves to different parts of the plant. This is also a very important point. So we have understood that the leaf prepares food for the plant. What is the leaf called? Leaf is called the kitchen of the plant. So, okay, the food is prepared by the leaf. So where is the food going? From the leaf, the food is given to the stem, and through the stem Again, just like how your water is supplied to different parts of your plant, the same way the food that is prepared by the leaf is also given to the stem. From the stem, it is supplied to all parts of the plant. And the food, extra food, where it goes? It goes and gets stored in the bananas, in the banana plant. The extra food prepared by the plant will go and get stored in the coconut. That is how you are getting your fruits and vegetables. Okay. The extra food prepared by the plant is stored. After supplied to all parts of the plant, they grow, and some food is extra that gets stored in the form of coconuts, in the form of bananas, etc. Okay. So these are the 4 functions of the stem. Hope you could understand. Now let's turn the page and understand the extended learning. 124, page 125. So what do you see in this extended learning? Sometimes extra food is stored in the stem, as in the case of sugarcane. Yes, I was just explaining to you. In case of bananas, in case of coconuts, where is the extra food going? The extra food is going and getting stored in the banana here, and the extra food is getting stored in the coconut tree. So the same way the sugarcane, the potato, the ginger, where is the food stored? The extra food? In sugarcane, the extra food is stored in the stem. You can see the picture carefully. And in the potato, the extra food is stored in the underground stem. And in the ginger also, the extra food is stored in the underground stem. So this is how we understand the function of the stem, that is storage of food or supply of food to different parts of the plant, and some of them they have underground stems and some of them they are above the ground and they also store the food. Let's understand the leaf. Look at the paragraph leaf. The leaf is an important part of the shoot. Different parts have different plants have leaves of different shapes and sizes. Most plants have green leaves. To understand the leaf in a better way, we have to draw it on the board. So I will draw and explain to you on the board. So whatever drawings I am doing, you have to draw in your classwork also. Remember, this is a rule of science class. Whatever drawings ma'am is explaining to you on the board, you have to draw them. And whatever figures we are giving, like figure 3.5, 3.4, all those you have to draw and follow the homework. So now let's understand how a leaf looks like. So this is the center part of the leaf. I'm first drawing the center part to understand the parts of the leaf. So what is this center part of the leaf called? This is called as the midrib. M-I-D-R-I-B, midrib. Say M-I-D-R-I-B, midrib. Next, this from here, the leaf blade will start. This is the leaf blade. So what is this? This is the leaf blade. It's called as the leaf blade. L-E-A-F-B-L-A-D-E. Leaf blade. Next one. The point where the leaf starts or is attached to the branch is the leaf base. What is it? Because it is the base. It is the base of anything. You understand what is the base, which is below. So this is the base which is attached to the stem. Let's draw the stem or branch here. Okay. So this is where it is attached. That is a leaf base. And what is this small part which is holding the leaf to the branch? That is the petiole. What is it? Petiole. P-E-T-I-O-L-E. Petiole. Yes, the spelling is correct. P-E-T-I-O-L-E. Petiole. That is the small stalk that is attaching the leaf with the branch. Now, let's understand what is the vein. So, does the leaf look like this, or it has something else? You can see some lines also, right? So, let's draw and see what it is. So, these are the veins. What are these? Veins. This is the vein of the leaf. So, what do I write? V-E-I-N, vein. Vein of the leaf. Now, what is this tip called? Of course, any tip is a tip. And what is the tip? This is the leaf tip. So, we just write it as leaf tip. Okay, that is the leaf tip. Very good. Now, the outermost shape of the leaf, which is giving it this shape, is called as the leaf margin. So, what is this outer line? This outer line is like this. Can you see this? So, that outer line, the shape of the leaf that is giving you is the leaf margin. What is it called? It's the leaf margin, M-A-R-G-I-N, margin, leaf margin. Leaf margin is the outermost shape of the leaf. And what is the most important part in the leaf that you find behind the leaf? Okay, we are drawing it from the front side. What you see from behind? You find some small air pores, which is called as stomata, if you remember very well. Okay, so here behind the leaf you find the stomata. So, if you expand this size, this is the stomata, and in between you have a air pore. Okay, what do you see in the center? There is a small pore here. Can you see? So, that is the air pore of the stomata. The whole thing is stomata. And what is this? This is the air pore of stomata. So, you can take help of the picture given in figure 3.6 to draw the leaf, and this is to explain to you. I have written all the parts wherever there is space on the board. So, I want you to draw the leaf straight like this, and you have to do the labeling only to one side, that is to the right side. Okay, I hope you can understand. So, whenever you draw some picture, draw the picture straight and do your labeling to the right side. Can everybody say? Do the labeling to the right side. Very good. And you have to keep the heading without fail. Heading is very, very important. So, let's just go through the paragraph to understand this parts of the leaves in a better way. The leaf is an important part of the shoot. Different plants have leaves of different shapes and sizes. Most plants have green leaves. A leaf has a flat and broad part called leaf blade. We have understood the leaf blade. Each leaf has a main vein in the middle called midrib. This is the main vein that is called as the midrib. You all have seen this midrib. There are many side veins coming from the main vein. These veins bring water to the leaf. The main vein is this, the midrib, and the side veins will carry water from the main vein to different parts of the leaf and different parts of the plant. The leaf blade has many tiny holes on its surface. So, this whole thing is the leaf blade. It's like a blade and it's called as a leaf blade. The whole this thing is called as a leaf blade. So, what does it have behind? Behind the leaf, it has small pores of stomata, air pores of stomata. So, these stomata, if there are two, they are called as stomata. If it is only single, it is called as the stoma. What is it called? Stoma, S-T-O-M-A. If it is two, we call it as S-T-O-M-A-T-A, stomata. So the stomata throw out extra water in the air. Plants breathe in air and breathe in and out through these stomata. So what is the function of this stomata? We can understand. It's throwing out the extra water in the air and also breathe in air and breathe out the gas that is not required after the respiration. The green leaves make food for the plant. One very important function here. Why and how? They contain a green pigment called chlorophyll. It helps in preparing food using carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight. So this is a very important point that we have learnt about leaf. After learning all parts of the leaf, what is the major function of the leaf? The major function of the leaf is to prepare food for the plant. And how is it possible? It is possible because the leaf has a green color pigment in it which absorbs the sunlight, and in the presence of carbon dioxide, air, that is air from the atmosphere, and the water that it absorbs from the soil, it passes through the roots to the stem to the leaves, and then all these three put together in the process of photosynthesis in the chlorophyll in the leaf, the food is prepared. So you have to read this lesson very carefully, one by one, all the processes, and next we will also study the 3.7 figure, and then with that we can complete this lesson, I think. Just turn the page to 126. We can also understand green leaf making food for the plant. So just read the paragraph, we will understand. The process by which plants make their food from air, water and sunlight is called photosynthesis. Photo means what? Photo means light and synthesis means put together. So what are put together here? Carbon dioxide, water and in the chlorophyll and the sunlight. All these put together is the process of photosynthesis. And why are we calling it as photo? Because sunlight is involved in it, we are calling it as photo. So the whole process is called photo is light. Synthesis is putting things together. Now you know what all things are put together, and this is the reason why the leaf is called as the food factory or the kitchen of the plant. So food from the leaves goes to different parts of the plant through the stem. This food helps the plant to grow. The plants store extra food in the form of starch. The starch is stored in the roots, stem, leaves or fruit. So we have already seen. So the leaf prepares the food and the extra food is stored in the form of starch. And this starch, where is it stored? Again, it is stored in different parts of the plant, either in the different parts of the shoot system or in the roots. Sometimes in the roots, in different parts, it is stored in different plants. So in carrot, where is it stored? In the roots. In the potato, where is it stored? In the underground stem. In sugar, where is it stored? In the stem that is present above the ground. So this is how the food is stored in different parts of the plant. So we are done with today's lesson. So I just want you to follow all the figures, so that is 3.4, 3.5, 3.6 and 3.7. You can draw them, you can label them nicely and read the lesson thoroughly so that you understand whatever I explain without fail. Thank you.